Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Oh my gosh! Welcome to the podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. And of course, you guys are always the best audience. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. Be sure to refer the show to your friends, neighbors, relatives. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss and sign up for the show. Take and subscribe. Tell your friends and relatives to subscribe so we can get more people doing it. Of course, we're on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, all the big podcast apps. You can, of course, find the Chris Voss Show on. Grab your friend's phone, subscribe to the show. They'll thank you for it or they'll hate you for it. But either way, you win. I don't know what that means. So today we have a really cool guest and a company that I've fallen in love with. Now, as an influencer over the years, I fall in love with companies and then I never shut up about them. People always come to me and they go, "Hey, Chris, you review like thousands of products. I think there's over 3,000 products there on the YouTube channel and the Chris Voss Show. We have some great companies that we have relationships now that are almost 10 years old. Holy crap. AT&T, Canon, Epson, Asus, Acer, just really great companies that we've had a relationship with that have been awesome for us. What's kind of interesting is there used to be a time where when things were kind of new and fresh in social media and technology and iPhone world and all that sort of stuff, there was a lot of new stuff that you could come that would fall in love with. And it's rare that I find new stuff that really sticks out at me. So let me introduce you to the president of BodyBrew, Kim Kapp. She basically oversees their social media, website, and vendor relations. She has a background in communications and public relations. She's been a cold brew coffee fanatic for 15 years, so she's probably been on a caffeine high that whole time, long before it came into fashion. And the cold brew part, not the caffeine addiction part. When she's not working, she enjoys golf and spending time outdoors in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. And as a side note, in their social media, all the cats they use are rescue cats. And I guess they run her life now. Welcome to the show, Kim. How you doing?
Thanks, Chris. I'm glad to be here.
And I see the tower of power there, the tower of caffeine power in the background, the BodyBrew stack pyramid of coffee makers.
Yes, we have our baby, my baby behind me, quad filter coffee system. And so we have 4 colors. So we wanted to feature a few of those for your audience in case they had not heard of us or wanted to know what the packaging looked like. They see it out.
So a couple years ago, I really didn't know what cold brew was. I'm sad to have to admit that, but I'm not a perfect person, clearly. Otherwise they'd write a book about me or something. I don't know. So so one time I'm at this Starbucks and I'm ordering like iced coffee because that's what I was doing. And I was losing a lot of weight. I lost like 70 pounds in 3 months and 75 pounds in 3 months. And one of my trick ponies was giving up pop, switching to coffee, and not doing the sugar-loaded coffees at the Starbucks, doing just straight iced coffee, no sugar, no milk, just and I never like hot coffee, probably because I'm impatient because I have to wait for the wait for it to cool down. I just can't drink it. So that's one of the reasons I love cold brew. But I was at a Starbucks and the guy said to me, when I order iced coffee, I'd ask for like 2 shots of espresso because, to keep this beautiful, it takes a lot of caffeine. So, and that was the pump I had with all the Mountain Dews I was drinking every day that I quit. So he says, you should really do cold brew because then you don't have to pay for the espresso. You get the extra caffeine in the cold brew because the way it's brewed, and you can save yourself a buttload of money. And I'm like, oh. And so after that, I kind of got on this cold brew kick. And then I started researching cold brew units. And so I bought a couple that were claimed to be the best cold brew. And then I was posting about it, talking about my cold brew experience. And one of my followers said, "Hey, man, have you tried this company called BodyBrew?" And I'm like, "I haven't heard of it." I looked you guys up. He's like, "You got to check it out, man. If you're doing cold brew, this is the company." So thanks to one of my audience members for turning me on to you guys. And I've just been in love with you guys ever since.
Well, thank you. That's really great. I mean, we have been cold brewing for a long time. So actually, my business partner started his first cold brew coffee maker in 2006. So that's been a while. And his grandfather had cold brewed for 40 years before that. So that's how we actually found out about cold brewing. It's been around a long, long time, but it hasn't been very commercially available. You've had to do sort of do it yourself, home, bucket, cheesecloth, those types of things, which is extremely messy, time consuming. People don't want to make the time for that. And so really back in 2006, he was developing his first cold brew coffee system, and that launched into retail. And then a couple years into that, we decided to invest significant time and money to re-engineer that to really get to a much more efficient and just user-friendly version that people could cold brew at home, to where it wasn't messy. They didn't have to pull a cork or a valve to drain the coffee. They didn't have to buy filters. There was really nothing else once you bought the system that people needed to buy. And so we really started evolving into how do we make cold brewing at home easy, because people were starting to hear about cold brewing and they were wondering, how they could do it at home, because obviously when you're buying it out, it's $5 or $6. And that's, potentially a daily or multi-daily process of spending. And so really how people can do it at home was a big motivation. And then the other thing for us is we're both very health conscious. And so realizing that cold brew coffee has a lot less acids and a lot less caffeine, which is a cholesterol elevating compound. There's a lot of science behind that as well. We really were 100% in for cold brew.
Yeah, coffee was one of my saving graces. I never was a big coffee fan, mainly because of the heat part of it. And you make it and you're like, I really want this coffee, but I gotta wait for it to cool down. And when I lost weight, and so I don't want to sell your product as a weight loss product, but I'm just going to tell my story because it's it might help some people. But one of the tricks to me losing weight and getting off the pop drug, because I was on a drug, since I was 20 years old or 18 or something, I was doing 10 to 15 Mountain Dews a day. And one of the reasons I lost 75 pounds within 3 months was I quit the pop. But I needed something to keep me going. I needed some caffeine and all that stuff. So I turned to coffee, and I started realizing very quickly on that, the Starbucks stuff is just syrup that they just pour out. It's not artisan, or I don't know what you'd even call it. It's just, it's a real low grade quality of coffee, in my opinion. It's good because you want that kick, but really, I mean, if you start looking at the calories that are in your average Starbucks, like Frappuccino or something like that, you just might as well grab a pound of sugar and just shove it in your mouth in the morning, which is not good. And so I started realizing how much I was dumping. I would wake up in the morning, have either Starbucks coffee with just loads of sugar and milk in it. Well, milk's not bad. But I would start pounding Mountain Dews. And I would realize how much of a killer that sugar dump was. So I started getting into more artisan coffees. I went to coffeereview.com and started reading some of the high quality coffees and ordering those. And, for 3 to 4 stops at Starbucks, you can order some really nice wine level, 99, 95, 92 grade coffees. And so I started experimenting with that. And one thing I realized is we eat for taste, we drink for taste. We want that taste. And if you're buying cheap coffee, or if you've got low grade coffee makers, and you're just not really experiencing coffee. And so the great thing about cold brew is it really pulls out, everything out of the coffee. And so that helped me lose a lot of weight and everything else. And you guys have this just beautiful coffee maker that you guys have designed. And it's not only beautiful, it's brilliantly efficient. And I started buying, these were some I bought off of Amazon for $15. And I started buying them, and there was some website that clearly was doing affiliate sales. It was a big one. I think it was Business Insider. But most of the coffee cold brew stuff I see in the market has a cylinder similar to this, and it usually sits in the middle of a canister of some type, and that's your brew. And one of the problems I noticed early on was I was filling this thing with coffee, but then like all the coffee grounds in the middle and stuff wouldn't get the thing. And so I started having to do this thing where every a couple times a day, I'd go in with a knife and have to swirl around the coffee grounds to try and make sure they all got stuffed. And there wasn't a lot of room in here either. But it made good coffee and coffee brew compared to Starbucks, so I was pretty happy about it. But then I discovered your guys' thing, and this thing is mind blowing because I don't know if one of the reasons, I'll let you correct me if I'm wrong, but my theory is the bigger tank in here that holds the coffee that gives it more exposure to the water, and so thereby it gives it more, I don't know what the right word is, secretion. But then the other cool thing is I can go like this. And I'll do this a couple times a day whenever I go downstairs, and I'll turn the BodyBrew over, and I'll make sure, I'll do this initially when I first put the water in, and I just make sure all those grounds are getting mixed up, nothing's getting, scrunched in and not getting exposed to the water. I don't know if that makes a difference, but it does for me. And then you guys got this cool magnet thing where you can put the timer on it, so you know how many hours into a cold brew cook you're in. So it looks like we're in 34 hours on this one. So this one's gonna be ready to drink soon. But I can't do that. I can't do that with these, other market things. You can't do that with this baby because it'll all come out that little funnel hole. But I don't know. Am I correct on that analogy, or am I?
You are. So the form is the functionality. So the way that we engineered and designed this particular cold brewer has a couple of different elements. One is the stainless steel filter. So the holes that are there are specifically to allow the water to move through the grounds. So for maximum extraction, it's really drawing out all the flavor. You're not going to get dry grounds, which is what you said you experienced with other cold brewers, because the grounds are fully saturated. The other part of that is the design does add to the fact that no matter how long you brew your cold brew, whether it's 12 hours or it's 72 hours, the filter with the grounds is going to be submerged the entire time. So as that water is absorbed into the grounds, it is still going to be covering the grounds. So you're going to get the maximum extraction, which also means that you're getting a super concentrated coffee extract. So you're not getting a ready to drink cold brew, which is what a lot of the cold brewers out there are. It's just ready to drink. You don't dilute it. You're getting 2 or 3 servings, maybe 4 in a brew cycle. And then you have, you have to drink it iced pretty much, unless you're going to throw it in the microwave. So this allows people with ours to have a super concentrated extract. So you can use it for hot drinks as well, which I actually drink my cold brew hot all the time. I just dilute it with hot water or steamed milk, so I can make my own lattes. I also use it in cocktails a lot, so it's ready to go for all kinds of things that you're going to dilute with. And then of course for iced coffee, you can dilute it with cold water, pour it over ice cubes, put coconut milk, whatever you want in there. And so you're really getting a lot of versatility when you use this type of a system. But yes, the engineering part took a long time because we were noticing the water to coffee ratio is really important to be able to get the maximum extraction and to get that really rich extract that you're tasting, which also has a kind of a sweet undertone. So you're not having to put sugar or a bunch of cream or kind of to cut that acidity, because when you drink cold brew at Starbucks or even, iced coffee other places, which may not be cold brew, you're mostly spending a lot of time masking the acidic flavors, which cold brewing has about 70% less acid. So we were very particular about how this product was designed for that purpose, so that people are really going to get the maximum amount of extraction. And then the other part is too, once you decant, so you flip it upside down and you're decanting, you can actually rebrew those grounds again. And then you can get 2 or 3 extra servings. So really not only maximizing the extraction, but also maximizing people's coffee dollars, because coffee's expensive and you want to be buying, new flavors and new types.
And that was the problem I had with the previous cold brew mechanisms, is I'm paying for really expensive coffee, like 92 to 95 grade off of coffeereview.com. And, I'm having it shipped to me, and, this is really good coffee that's been brought to you from the other side of the world. And, you don't want to treat it like, this is some Starbucks coffee, But you're right. What a lot of people don't realize with coffee is if you're drinking really poor, bad coffee, you're putting tons of sugar in it because it tastes so bitter, because it's so nasty, and tons of milk, tons of sugar, and you're trying to offset the fact that it tastes like crap. And the beautiful thing about cold brew, like you say, is that it brings out all the flavor, it eliminates a lot of the bitterness. And so you just drink this pure, wonderful coffee. You can actually taste what the coffee actually is. If you've ever read the back of one of those coffee things where it says all the stuff that it's just fruit, tropical, chocolate, berry. If you read some of those things, then you drink it and you're like, this tastes nasty. You're just not preparing it right. That's really what it is.
Exactly. And the brew methods are not all the same. I mean, that's one of the reasons why being very health conscious, and you talked about, your weight loss journey and really how improving your health is life-changing. And so for us, really people are told, well, you got to give up coffee. They don't want to do that. They don't want to give up their daily habit. It's just not something you want to hear from your doctor, that you have to give up coffee. We have a lot of people that buy our product that have like GERD. I mean, they have medical issues and they have heartburn problems and they're on medications. And the first thing the doctor tells them is, you have to give up coffee. Well, what they really are doing is they're just brewing wrong. Because if you're using a single serve coffee maker, which are in every, kitchens across America and every, lunchroom in every business, because it's fast and easy and it's cheap coffee, you're drinking tons of acid. And that is what's really bothering people's stomachs a lot of times. It's just that acidic coffee. And so it's really the brew method, the heat of drip and the heat of single serve, and even the heat of French press, with squeezing out all those oils, which is where a lot of the caffeine comes from. That is something that it's really the brew method and not the coffee's fault. So if people change up their brew method and want to give cold brewing a try, they can really experience a wide array of coffees, great flavors. You're going to get to those fruity and delicious chocolatey undertones that you were talking about, because it's really bringing out the pure flavor of whatever coffee you're brewing. We call it coffee nectar. It's really kind of just the purest form. And so that's what's been really exciting, is to be able to get people who love coffee and have had to give that lifestyle up back into it. So it's really for the health of it, and also for we want to make it easy too, because cold brewing is not always easy, and we've made it, I think, extremely easy.
You guys have made it super easy. I mean, it's just, and I'll show you guys. And I'm going to preface the show when we upload this to the podcast. You'll hear this at the beginning. We're giving away one of these BodyBrew units on the Chris Voss Show. Go ahead and onto our social channels, retweeting where you see it, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Give it a retweet, give it a like, share it with your friends and neighbors. And then I think in a week or two, we're going to give away one of these cool units for people. But you can see the filter system. Look how huge this is compared to the other, cold brew that I read. This is the best cold brew maker from some news website. But you can see the real difference here. And when I fill this with coffee, it's going to go up to about a third or so of this. Using the 8-ounce method you guys referenced in your instruction manual.
Actually, let me jump in here really quick. You want to actually use the full half pound of coffee. So you want it to fill the top of the filter. Yes.
Okay.
That way you're going to get the proper coffee to water ratio. So it's 8 ounces by volume, by weight, not by volume.
Okay. Because I've been using this is the thing you guys send with it. And it's a jigger that's got 2 ounces and 1 ounce on the side, just like you'd have in a bar. So basically just put a half a pound in. Don't worry about doing 8 ounces with this thing so much.
Exactly. That is actually to measure extract. So we actually sell our ground coffee in half pound bags. There you go. So you just fill the filter with half pound of coffee. So 8 ounces. And it should be coarse ground. So again, to allow the water to move through those grounds and not be too packed in there and hold water. And so that's where people get dry grounds, is if they either use too fine of a grind or they're using another cold brewer that doesn't allow for that. And then after you brew, that actually produces 8 to 12 servings of cold brew, which again is a little bit different than a lot of the cold brews on the market. We really produce a high volume of cold brew coffee so that you can have multiple servings per day. Or like for me, I actually only drink coffee once a day. So I have 1 cup in the morning and I only brew once a week. So I really, once I'm brewing my last serving, then I want to start my brew cycle. And so it's really just a once a week kind of a thing. But yeah, fill the filter all the way through and then you add 40 ounces of water. And then you just let that steep for 12 plus hours and you've got coffee for a week or maybe a day if for you, because I know you're a
That's a day for me. And you're right. It does make a concentrated form. So if you want to eke it out over a couple of days, I can see somebody who maybe doesn't need as much caffeine juice as I do to keep, this beauty going that I have. Is basically, you can, and I've had sometimes where I go down for like a lunch or an afternoon hit of coffee, and I call it a hit. Wow, it is a drug. So I'll go down for that, and I'll be like, this is way too thick, and it's like oil, and so yeah, I'll break it up. I'll put some water in. What's nice is you guys is the functionality of the unit makes it so here's the unit itself. You can unscrew this bottom part, and what's great is it works as a separate container if you want to take and do it. And one of the things that you guys throw in with the unit is these cool caps. And these are really beautifully and really smartly designed. I was kind of blown away at the innovation on these. They've got the sealer on it. And of course, you can just seal this up, and it's got a drink spout, so you can drink out if you want. You can turn the thing so you have access to the drink spout. And then you can just drink out of this, or you can put this in the fridge and store it. And you guys also make one for the other side too, if you just want to store that with the whole basin and everything put together.
And that's really great, Chris. That second cap is actually really great for people that are rebrewing. So once they've decanted their extract, they've got that in the fridge. Then they actually can add water again to the filter and to that extract to the brew chamber, and then they can start rebrewing and get a couple of extra 2 to 3 servings actually of coffee. And then we actually sell a separate chamber, which is called the rebrew chamber, and then you can decant into that as well. So you can differentiate your extract from your rebrew. So we try to make it as simple as possible for people who are just like really trying to make a cup of coffee in like a minute.
And it's really easy. I mean, here's your filter. You fill it with a half a pound of coffee, and there it is. Then you take the base, and what's cool is you even have a handle in it, which is nice for turning it over and shaking. You put the coffee in, you go like this, lock it in, you're locked in. You take your bigger unit, you put it in, you go like this. I'm going to make a video on this, but it's probably going to be the shortest instruction video ever. And that's it. And you fill it with water, of course. You open this top part up and put your water in there, fill it up to the line, and no brainer. And then I let it cook for 48 hours. And of course, somewhere around here on my desk, there's you guys also offer an additional timer. So you put a timer on there, which is really important to me because I usually have, like at one time I had like 3 cold brew things cooking so that I could have, every 24 hours, or I do it for 48 hours. So every 48 hours I'd have to have or every 24 hours I'd make a new cook, and then I'd have a rolling thing if I'm making any sense there. So having the timers is really good because I forget. I'm like, when did I brew this? And I was trying to stick Post-it notes on it.
Exactly. And yeah, so it's a custom count-up timer, so it fits on the magnetic port, and then you can just start it when you're starting your brew cycle, and then you know how many hours you brewed because it counts up. So we have a lot of people actually surprisingly brew 72 hours, which I not quite made it to that. I usually, the 24-hour brew is what I prefer, but yeah, you can count up for as many hours as you want, and then you never lose track of it. So you can kind of, we call it finding your brew number. And so when you find your brew number, then you have what's the taste profile that you like. So like I said, we're all about making it easy because people have busy lives. They're active. I mean, that's one of the reasons we got into this business is because we're active, but we love coffee. And so how do you take cold brew with you and make it affordable and make a lot of different kinds of drinks? Because I like to do that. I like to experiment with different types of flavorings and different ways of using the cold brew, using it in recipes. And so making it easy. And you mentioned that carry handle. I mean, it's getting to be Memorial Day weekend's coming up, summer's coming up. This is a coffee maker you can actually take with you, because if you're
I'd carry this into work if I had a job. At 9 to 5, I just carry this in. Like,
there you go. It's like your lunch.
My briefcase and my coffee. People are like, yeah, there's Chris and his coffee again.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really convenient for people who have RV or camp. I mean, it's a great way for them to just take coffee with them, because they might not have electricity where they're at. They're getting, they're getting out. And I live in the Pacific Northwest, so we have a lot of hiking and camping opportunities here. And so it's a really great way to take, cold brew with you. Because once you get into drinking cold brew, you kind of don't want to go back to something else.
Yeah, it's a real kind of addiction.
What is this? So,
it just makes the coffee taste like it's supposed to taste. And you don't have to add sugar and stuff to it. Like when I make sometimes an oil brew out of here, because I have filled it with up to 12 of these things. When we were testing it out, we try all sorts of different ways. So I once put 12 ounces here, which is probably close to the half a pound that you're referring to, or more. And so I put 12 in there, and we actually cooked for like 4 or 5 days in this thing. We were trying 2 days, and then 3 days, and then 4 days. We're like, let's just kind of play with it and see what the we kicked the tires on everything we review. So we did that with this thing. And man, after like 4 or 5 days, it still makes really good coffee, but it's like oil, but it's really good. It's really good.
It is. And so the shot glass that you showed really is for people to measure. Because if you have cold brew before, or you've never used our maker, which has that super concentrated extract, it's a way to measure kind of like how many ounces of liquid you're going to put in a cup. So if you want to try, like I like 3 ounces of cold brew extract to like 6 ounces of water. That's kind of my ratio, but it lets people personalize it. So that's what's another really great thing for people who have multiple people in their household, or maybe they're having people over, is it lets everybody kind of personalize their coffee how they want to, whether they're going to have it hot or they're going to have it iced. It just lets each coffee drinker enjoy it the way they want it, which it's like if you ever go to grandma's for Thanksgiving and she makes drip coffee and it's weak, everybody in the room is stuck with that. This totally eliminates that problem.
But you can bring this with you, so you don't have to drink grandma's.
You can bring it, yeah.
But the other thing about it too is these are their cheap coffee cold brews that I got off Amazon. They just don't look that great in your kitchen. These look nice. In fact, I really like the blue one. That was one of the reasons I asked to have you guys send me some more, is because I really like the blue one.
Oh, that's good. Blue is good.
But they're all good looking. There's 4 colors. There's I think a clear.
Yep, sheer is clear, and then we have shadow, which is kind of a smoke gray, and then we have sky, which is the blue that you have, and then we have stealth, which is black, and that one you can't see through. That is completely, it's opaque.
That one just sneaks up on you and gives you a caffeine hit, right? The stealth.
You don't know what the brew looks like. You're just taking your chances, but
you just drink it. You're like, I can't see it in my cup, but I know it's there because I don't know. Yeah, you guys, it's a beautiful product, and so you wouldn't mind having this in your kitchen. It's cool looking. People can come play with it. And the other thing that I was really impressed by, because I saw your ads and I was looking at your website, I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be like a $200 rig. This is gonna be one of those things where somebody's making a buttload of money off of the thing. This is really inexpensive.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we just lowered our prices. Yeah. We are doing a new low price for our experience, which is the coffee maker and the shot glass, at $39. So people can get into cold brew lifestyle for $39, which is a bargain. And
holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I paid at least, I bought these cheap things on Amazon. They were like $20. So, and I got to tell you, for a while there, since I have to have my rolling cold brew 48-hour mix, so I have to have one started 24 hours, and then 24 hours are going to start another one, 24 hours are going to start another one, so that I make sure that we always have cold brew, or however that works out. But I was using this and 2 of these Amazon cold brewers, and I was just like, I go to the Amazon cold brewers, I'm like, this is nasty, man. Wow, I didn't realize how bad this was. I got a BodyBrew, and wow, it's like I finally had to quit using them, because I was like, this is stupid. So then I called you guys up and I said, hey, we'll give away a bunch of them. Send me some more so I can have a rolling thing, because they were just that nasty. Once I compared the taste between the BodyBrew. I'm not kidding you guys. It's a hell of a difference. It's like night and day. It was just so nasty. I had to quit using these things and shelf them. Now they're on a shelf somewhere. I have to give them away to some. But give them away to my family. I'll give them away some family members that I don't like or something. That's what I'll do.
Your worst enemies. That's what gets us. And you're really right. I mean, not to brag, because obviously we want to have people have the best experience, and not all cold brew or cold brewers are the same. And that was what we really wanted to do, is differentiate what we're putting out there. We believe in putting out a quality product, and we believe at making it easy to use. And we really are cold brew fanatics. And so how do you make the best cold brew? And that was really what we spent the time and money in the engineering phase of creating this product, is doing that. Because we knew that the extraction is critical. And when you're not putting proper coffee to water ratios, and the grounds aren't fully soaking, you're going to get a big difference in taste. And that's what obviously you've experienced with another product, is that it's not going to be the same taste as if you're really maximizing that extraction.
And it is night and day. I will attest to that. I'll put my hand on the Bible. I'll take a lie detector test. It is night and day. And keep in mind, this was something, I think, Business Insider or one of these things, and they do like those affiliate. They're kind of like articles, but you can tell they're making. It says, "Hey, we make money off affiliates, so this is what we're selling." But they had reviewed about 10 different cold brew things, and Gourmia is a great company. They sent me a lot of kitchen stuff that we have in the kitchen downstairs. They've sent me some cold brew units that I don't even think we bothered reviewing, because it was just so. They're great at everything but cold brewing. And then I got these, and these are reported to be the best out of everything they tested. And so I'm like, okay, I'll buy those. And it's night and day between the BodyBrew system and what is purported to be these best. In fact, I want to call up whoever wrote that article and be like, hey man, you really got to try BodyBrew, because
we are under reviewed. I will tell you that we really are never making these top reviews, and I don't know why, because the people that that buy our product and that follow us on our social feeds, I mean, they have fortunately the same experience that you are. They love it, and but we are just kind of a dark horse, I think, that hasn't been discovered yet. So I really appreciate you having us on the show today, because it is really, I mean, we really believe in cold brew coffee and the health benefits of it. We have a lot of athletes that follow us and that use our product. They use it as a pre-workout in their pre-workout drink for that caffeine boost, but it's not going to bother their stomach, because when they're at the gym, and a lot of bodybuilders and fitness endurance athletes, that is a big following for us, because they do want that caffeine, they want to have coffee, but the acids and just obviously the ease of use and portability that we offer is very different. You're not going to put a pitcher in your backpack and take cold brew to work. You got to have it in a way you can really get it there, and it's not going to spill all over the place.
And what's nice is I can probably take this when I travel in my carry-on, because it comes apart, and I can shove like some socks and different clothes inside of it and carry it with me. Normally when I travel, I'll take I can't remember what the brewer is I take with me, but it's the compact one where you push it down. It's fairly popular, but it's not a cold brew thing. But I'll take it with me because I can travel with it, and I hate drinking normal coffee on the road. But this thing I can sneak on the road with me, the way that you guys have built it and the way it comes apart, and it's got hollow sort of things. Yeah, it's just really beautifully designed between the caps that you guys have, that I was just like, wow, they really thought this through. And the way the BodyBrew system is designed is just amazing. I'm just real impressed with it, and testing it every way I've tested it. It just works really great, and it's simplistic, it's easy. And that was my real trick to losing weight. The first thing I do in the morning is I'd have a coffee, and I go as far as I could without eating breakfast. And then when I got hungry, I'd eat breakfast. And that was one of the real keys to me losing weight and getting off the pop. And I quit drinking pop for 2 years. And then recently, I don't know, it was a couple months ago, I started drinking pop just a little bit. I don't bring it home, so there's none in the fridge. And I don't drink Mountain Dew, because that Mountain Dew is my heroin. So what I noticed after 2 years of getting all that sugar out of my system and learning to eat without and drink without that sort of sugar high was I I would drink if I drink like the normal Cokes, my heart will race. Like it's like I'm going to have a heart attack. And it's that high fructose sugar that's just crazy that's in there. And what's interesting is if I drink a normal, what we have here in Nevada is Mexican Coke. And so it's Coke that's imported from Mexico and it just has real sugar in it. It doesn't have the high fructose corn syrup. I can drink one of those and I'm fairly fine, get a little bit of buzz from the sugar. But whatever's in that high fructose corn syrup is just some evil crap and you just don't realize it when you're drinking it all the time or you're living on the sugar high with your body. But this is a really great way for people. If you want to lose weight, you want to drink great coffee, you want to live a more healthier lifestyle, because I think there's some things on your website that talk about some of the different ways that coffee can be brewed that's not cold brewing or in a certain format can give off different, I think, gases or different things that aren't always good for you.
Yeah, so actually oil, so we tested for 3 different things. We tested for total acids, and we compared our cold brewer to other cold brewers, as well as multiple popular brew methods like single serve, French press hot, a drip. So we compared all of these different brew methods. We tested for total acids, and then we tested for caffeistol, which is Baylor University did a big study a few years ago, and there's been a number of European studies on caffeistol, and it is the most potent cholesterol elevating compound known, which is scary because people don't think about that. So the oils that you see floating on the coffee, those are actually cholesterol elevating compounds that raise your LDL. So people who are sensitive to cholesterol or trying to watch it, which we all should, no matter what our health state is, because cholesterol catches up with people. And that is something that we were very interested in because we were looking at it, like, what are these oils on the coffee? We should test for that. And then we also tested for tannic acid, which is the kind of acids that stain people's teeth and will ruin tooth enamel. And so you see all these toothpaste commercials and things like that. Well, really, coffee and tannic acid are very high connected. And so there's a lot of brew methods that are very high in those elements. And so we tested for those. We have a whole page on our website that's related to health. We have graphs that show the actual lab results. We went to a lab, a third-party lab that does nothing but coffee testing. So they're experts in how to do that. And we really wanted to know, like, what is cold brew, what's in it, and how does ours compare to others? Because when you're talking about, for example, cold brewing in a French press, a lot of people will do that. That is still producing very high levels of acid, much more than the way that our brew method works. And it's that pressing, that squeezing of those grounds to extract those oils that is still extracting a lot of acids. So not all cold brewing is the same. And so we really wanted to make sure that, if we were going to talk about, how cold brew is better for your body, we needed to prove that, because we're not going to just say something and not be able to stand behind it. And so we really are extremely happy that we can not only stand behind the coffee that it produces, but also the materials that the coffee maker is made out of. It's BPA free, it's phthalate free, it's PVC free. So although people may be plastic sensitive, this is health safe Triton. And so we really wanted to make sure that if we're going to talk about, giving healthy lifestyle people a good option for enjoying coffee, or people who want to improve their health, that we need to be in it 100% with not only the quality of the coffee that it produces, but also what is the product made out of. So,
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the first times I posted when I first got the BodyBrew maker, and I'm like, we're going to review this. And I posted on Facebook, one of my audience people said, oh, what about the, it was a specialized plastic. Unfortunately, I think one of your social media people who seem to be really good at it, who seem to be, no, they're good at it. They posted, hey, it's made with, all that stuff you just referenced. And they're like, oh, that's good then. So, it's really important. And as we wrap the show, we should probably mention too, behind you, you guys have really good 3 coffees. I really like the chocolate coffee. And I'm not a chocolate person, but it made a great sort of lunch, afternoon coffee.
Yeah. So this is our bliss. And this is actually made with, it's our house blend, which is our bodacious blend, but then we add in 25% raw cacao. And so we blend that, and so you get that chocolatey undertone, but it is really great for like a little bit of a sweeter coffee, or people who like chocolate, and which I love chocolate, so it's really great for, just kind of like, okay, I don't want to eat chocolate, because again, if you're practicing a healthy lifestyle, you want to be, toning down on that. But this is a really nice treat. So a lot of times people will do Bliss. We have our Bodacious blend, which is our house blend, which is a dark roast, and then we have what's called Blast Off. And Blast Off it's a light roast, so it's higher in caffeine. Surprisingly, I know people get confused about that, but actually the lighter the roast, the higher caffeine, and it's got a really rich, bold flavor. So for people who really want a good kick in the shorts, Blast Off is a way to go. And then we give away, I think we're one of the only cold brewers, the only cold brewer that does this, but we give away a half pound of our Bodacious coffee with every purchase. So people, when they get their coffee maker, they can have a great out-of-box experience and really get to brewing right away. They don't have to go, oh, I don't have coffee, or I don't have the right kind of coffee. We pre-grind all of our coffee. You literally just dump the entire bag into the filter, put the cap on, add the water, and you are brewing. So we want to make sure people have a very easy experience the first time when Amazon drops it off, or the UPS guy drops it off. You get a great experience that you can be brewing within 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to the store now, and like most of the bill now is coffee. But I loved you guys' coffee. You guys sent us all three. We tried it. We loved it. I really like the chocolate. I think the main reason I like the chocolate was because in the morning I'll drink the oil stuff, the really heavy duty, motor oil coffee. And then late in the afternoon, I want a coffee kick, but I'm not really in the mood for the oil. I just would like a nice, fruity, like sometimes I'll have like a fruity sort of, just a light coffee in taste. So it's just not that bold. You need that in the morning, but in the afternoon, you're just kind of like, I just want a caffeine kick, and I want to kind of taste something that is good. So we really loved it. Anything more we need to know about BodyBrew with you guys?
Well, you visit us online, bodybrew.com. We also have a great blog. We talk about a lot of things, coffee and other stuff that's not coffee related. That's interesting. And then, of course, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, so people can follow us on social media. We try to keep our social media account, not all about our product. We do a lot of funny stuff. We put our pets on there. We try to keep interesting articles that we share. So really just try to, get to know our audience a little bit and what they like, and keep it interesting.
Yeah, it's a great product, guys. This is a 3 thumbs up in a 2 thumbs up world. I really love this product. I probably won't stop shutting up about it. I'm not sure I'm going to find anything better. You guys have designed something just design wise. This is like, you can almost call this like the Steve Jobs cold brew maker, because if Steve Jobs was going to make a cold brew maker, he'd probably make this one here. You guys would probably be quoting it on your social media memes here today. But
we might have to steal that from you, Chris.
You're certainly welcome to. I love the product, and if anybody who knows me, people pull me aside out of all the reviews we do, and they go, "We know you reviewed like 50,000 cold brew or coffee makers, or we know you 50,000 phones or speakers or whatever. But what do you keep? What do you use every single day? What do you really love, Chris? Out of all the because I review everybody." And so that's what everyone wants to know, because they want to, what does Chris keep? What does he use? And I love this product. Like I said, I had to shelve the other products because it was night and day, even though they were supposed to be purported the #1 cold brewer, according to some affiliate website. This just blows them away. And to be honest with you too, that article that said that these were the best, they didn't review your guys' product. So somehow we need to get those guys woken up to your product, but hopefully this podcast will help. And so comparatively, you guys didn't compete on the list, and you guys probably would have took #1 if you would have been on it. But I love this product. It's incredibly well built. It's incredibly well thought out. It's incredibly beautiful. I'm gonna be so happy putting a picture of like 4 of these things on my kitchen counters, taking and cooking cold brew endlessly. So I'm just gonna live on coffee for the rest of my life. I'm giving up food, giving up everything.
Get behind that.
Coffee from here on out. Anyway, I certainly appreciate Kim for coming by the show. Be sure to check bodybrew.com, I believe. Is that correct? BodyBrew.com. Order yourself up one of these. I think you're just going to love the crap out of it. I can almost guarantee you will. Make sure that you use the coarse grains. You don't go too fine on your coffee because that makes a difference. But if you really want to enjoy the experience with coffee, you want to maybe do some things, just be healthier, like we talked about, lose weight, whatever the case is, get off that pop drug. Holy crap. I spent 2 years off the pop drug. It'll change your life. You'll feel so much better about yourself. The other thing that I have now that every now and then I'll have a Coke when I go out or something, I'll go out to eat, have a burger and a Coke. I got to tell you, the sugar crash, oh my God, of the Coke products, the pop products, the sugar crash you get. And then what the problem is, what you do is you get the sugar crash and then you go for another, you're like, well, I'll have another Coke. And you're just like in this cycle. And I used to live that way all day long with 10 to 15 Mountain Dews a day. I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night and have a Mountain Dew just to go back to sleep. And you realize how bad the sugar is and what it does to you in the pop. So if you really want to maybe get away from that, or if you just want to make really good coffee, I highly recommend you do that. And check out their coffee, the chocolate, especially if you're my mom's a coffee addiction person. She needs to go into rehab. That's how much she likes coffee. So she would love that sort of thing. Anyway, guys, I certainly appreciate you guys coming by the show and giving us a listen. Be sure to check out bodybrew.com. Thanks to Kim for coming by the show. And be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that bell notification button so you get all the notifications of the shows. Please refer the show to your friends, neighbors, relatives. Go to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're even on that new Luminescence or something podcast thing where I think you have to pay to be on it, but there's a bunch of big names on it. We're on that. That just barely got approved. So be sure to check us out there. We certainly appreciate my audience. Thanks to everyone, and we'll see you next time.